If you're struggling to take out Tagilla on Escape from Tarkov, today's video is going to help you to be able to do that and not end up back in the stash with absolutely no gear left on you. And so with that in mind, let's talk about what you need to take into the raid and the sorts of things that you need in order to take him out, as well as have a look at some of the ways that he'll aggressively attack you and how you can combat that in both the PVE mode and PvP. If you like the sound of that, then make sure to like this video and of course subscribe down below for more Escape from Tarkov. So let's first take a look at the ammunition that you're going to need to make it a hell of a lot easier. Now this is not the full list of any ammunition that can take out Tagilla. That is every single piece of ammunition. You just need to hit the right places. But in a generalized sense, these are some of the ammunitions that I would recommend in order to take out Tagilla as easily and as efficiently as possible without either wasting rounds or just ending up back with nothing in your stash again. We'll start off with the 556x45, which is the M856A1. M856A1 is not the best round by far, but what it provides you is level 3 penetration with very high and a high penetration with level 4. Now, when you're coming up against Tagilla, he can typically have a level 6 vest, which obviously is pretty annoying to actually take out. And as well as that, he also has the level 5 helmet, which you will not be able to reliably pen with M856A1, which is why you need to go for the throat area up to the head area, and that is kind of where you can go for to take out Tagilla, and kind of just above his actual armored rig or his actual armor that he can have in the game. And so M856 has 52 damage. It is by far not the best round in the game at all, but it is accessible to people as long as you've leveled up your traders a decent amount. And you can see that you can get 143 per reset as of the recording of this video. And then the better ammunition to use is M855A1, which has level 4 penetration with low penetration on level 5. Just makes it a little bit easier, slightly less damage, but nothing substantial in that regard. You can use M855. I would completely avoid using M856. It just is garbage. So use M855 at the bare minimum, and even then I would probably not use M855 for trying to take out Tagilla efficiently. Then we move into 762x51, which you can use with the MDRs and stuff like that, the 762 variants. M80 is, you know, a decent round. It has 80 damage and can go through level 4 plates. And so if you've got a fully automatic 762x51, it's quite easy to take out the boss with that regard. And of course it does a ton of damage every single time that you hit him. So full autoing with this amount of damage and that amount of penetration, yeah, it's pretty good. And so then you have M62 as kind of the other round that you can use, which has level 4 penetration with low penetration level 5, which is nice for Tagilla as well. Slightly less damage, but nothing exceptional with regards to the performance of this round. Obviously you do get better ammunition than both of these rounds in M995, but obviously you have to have that round, and using it on Tagilla once again is probably not what you're wanting to do. So both of these are absolutely fine to take out the boss. Then we go into our typical 545x39. So if you're using any of the AKs in the game, this is kind of the minimum requirement. BS ammo is pretty good for this. And so you got level 5 pen. You actually get a lot of BS ammo from Tagilla himself. He can have either BP, BT or BS ammo. And so having that option to use the BP ammo on Tagilla is really nice. And of course BS ammo being the solid one at level 5 penetration with low penetration on level 6 as well. So really nice ammunition, but obviously quite difficult to get your hold of, except from actually farming Tagilla, and you don't want to be wasting the rounds that you're trying to farm to actually get the BS ammo. But BP, obviously substantially easier to get. Both if you're playing the PVE mode, the actual PMCs can often have BP in their mags, so taking that out is a good way of doing that. And also Tagilla once again has BP ammunition in him and often spawns with like 4 mags, so you get about anywhere from 120 to 150 rounds from Tagilla if he does have the AK rather than the shotgun. And then we run into the shotgun. So shotguns, you can use shotguns against Tagilla. It works works out really well, provided that you are fully loaded and you have an 8-shell magazine, for example, with the MP153 or the Sega, and you're using Piranha or you're using Flechette. Both of these rounds have good penetration. The Flechette level 3, but actually the penetration on the ammo chart, which you can have a look at in the description, which goes through all of the different mechanics surrounding ammunition penetration. Flechette being one of the best rounds for shotguns in the game, and can go through those high level plates, including Tagilla's kind of face mask to a degree, and the same with Piranha, just a little less effective. It says it's level 2 penetration, but because there's so many of the rounds fired in one singular go, you get 10 projectiles, each doing 25 damage per shell. So either going for the legs on Tagilla or going for that upper chest, you can take him out really easily with Piranha and Flechette. Flechette is very expensive, Piranha is significantly cheaper, but obviously just that little bit worse. But for me, I'd rather take in Piranha as it's way cheaper, and also the fact that there isn't a huge amount of difference between the two rounds. There is a better option with Flechette, but you don't have to worry about it too much. And then we've got some more off-peak ammunition types. We've got the SP6, which is the 9x39 round. So things like, for example, the AS Val use this round. It has 60 damage, which is actually pretty good. It's much higher than what you will see with, for example, the M856 or the 545 and with the 556. But SP6 itself does have a penetration chance on level 4 very high, and level 5 just standardly high, and then of course very low on level 6. But it's actually very useful and is usually used in the AS Val, and the AS Val has an absolutely cracked fire rate. The only problem with the AS Val is it runs out and heats and overheats very quickly, which can mean that it isn't necessarily the best to guarantee easy fights with Tagilla, because you can end up jamming your weapon mid-fight if you're having to mag dump him if you don't managed to take him out within the first few bullets. But it is a very solid round. I've used it a lot on factory to farm up Tagilla, and it worked insanely well, and it's actually my preferred round and preferred loadout to actually run factory, as the AS Val is just quite a short weapon that you can go around corners much easier than some of the longer weapons in the game, as you get caught on the edges of things, which is something to be said. And then rip ammo, 45 ACP, making sure to use this only on the legs and making sure to go for that. If you've got other ammunition in terms of pistol rounds, then you can use those. For example, I have had success using LRN going for leg meta on Tagilla with a PPSH, for example, but it is significantly harder to use and does technically, well, it's just not the best round, and so if you are going to use it, just be wary of that. And yeah, it is probably not going to end up too well on a lot of the fights that you're in. So having a actual AR or a fully automatic weapon that can fire any of these rounds is going to do you a solid, with the exception of the rip. As long as you're aiming at the feet, that is fine as well. So that is the ammunition. And now we get on to the armor that you're going to want to take. Now, obviously I mentioned that Tagilla can spawn with BT, BP and BS ammo, and I believe he may even have PPBS, but that is a very low chance of him spawning with that, I believe, and I wouldn't guarantee that, so I'm sure someone in the comment section will clarify that, but I believe he could have PPBS as well, which is level 6 penetration. So you want to have the highest level armor that you can, so level 6 front plate and a level 4 back plate. Minimum requirements, level 4 for the front plate, and you want to have a armored rig or a rig of some kind that has a decent amount of slots in to take up the mags that you're going to grab from Tagilla after you take him out. And also you want to make sure that the coverage on that armored plate is very good. So for example, this one covers the stomach, thorax, lower back, upper back, left side, right side, front plate, back plate, left plate and right plate. And you want to make sure that you do put in left and right plates into the rig after the armor layout is much better. If you have a actual body armor, so something that actually protects the neck area, this can be also kind of good as well. So the throat, you can see, covers the throat armor. So the Gazelle, obviously very used armor piece and works really well. Headgear wise, you want to make sure that you will have some form of level 4 kind of helmet, And of course, if you've got the Bastion with the additional plate on top of it, the slab, that is kind of going to be one of the best things that you can do. The slab being this Bastion plate right here, which goes around and just covers the area in level 6 armor, so you can avoid those headshots that you can occasionally get. And then typically I will run with a Death Shadow mask. You can see Death Shadow mask. This has level 2 protection, and it will just help you against some of the scavs. It's not going to actually stop you from being head-eyed by Tagilla, because he's just got better ammunition than level 2, but you never know, you could bounce around, and of course it helps against those shotgun scavs that you can meet just in case they do hit you in the face. So it is a nice little additional extra, but not required as such. And then of course Condor glasses as well, just helps with a little bit of extra armor protection and stacks up with the Death Shadow mask, and then whatever headphones that you actually want to use. And then we'll get into how you actually take him out in the game. So first thing that you need to be aware of when it comes to Tagilla, he has a special ability or a special kind of engagement type, which is that once he knows that you're there, he will sprint towards you. He will absolutely peg it towards you. There is nothing stopping him. He is coming for you. And that means that you have very little time to prepare. And so what you need to do when you do hear him voice line, which you can typically hear in the game, it's a very distinct voice line compared to anything else in the game, so you'll know it's him. And you'll get used to it as well when you do hear it, and you've done it quite a few times, is that you then run in a direction away from him. So usually you'll hear him voice line from a specific direction. Make sure that you get into an area where there's a corridor or some form of kind of close engagement, because although Tagilla can pull out his little sledgehammer, he will try and hit you to death. And at this point, what you can do is you sprint back just enough so that you can get away from melee range distance, and then you pre-aim the door, because he is coming through that door regardless. He doesn't wait, he doesn't hold a position, he doesn't act smart, he just comes in all guns blazing and tries to bum rush you. And at that point you can kind of just pre-aim the door and aim kind of upper chest level, and then hopefully get lucky with your rounds, or hope that you don't get unlucky with a weapon jam or something like that. And as long as you're mag dumping that area, he's pretty much gone. You can see in the background we were just using a PPSH, but also we've used a wide variety of different ammunition as well, and also different weapons. So you can see we use the shotgun as well, and as long as you catch him off guard when he comes through a door, just making sure to pre-aim it, then you're absolutely fine. Just literally running, keep on going, because he's coming at you with the axe. So as soon as you see him pull out the axe, you want to pre-aim him and fire at him. If he gets too close, you want to sprint away, and then whilst you're running away, you want to reload your weapon or whatever, and then make sure that you get into another cover position where he's going to have to come round the corner to actually fight you. And then once again, you re-engage with that upper chest level, and that's where you can take out Tagilla quite easily. If you manage to somehow get behind him, or you see him running away from you, what you can do is aim at the back of his head. The helmet only covers the very front of his head, and so if you can land a couple shots into the back of his head, he's gone. There's nothing, there's no armor protection. He's only got the cap, so if you can see the cap, you can get a headshot on Tagilla. This is the best way of kind of taking him out, is lob a nade when he's not chasing you, and then you'll see him run away, and then you can shoot whilst he's running away and aiming kind of upper chest level or upper back level, and then hopefully getting a couple shots into the head. Or if you want to risk it with weapon recoil and stuff like that and accuracy, then you can obviously aim at the head, but you know, it's worked quite well aiming kind of upper back, and the recoil at the beginning will go slightly up into his head, and usually you'll just take him out, as well as dealing massive damage to the back of him anyway. And as well as that, you also have the option to, of course, mag dump with a shotgun, and so that works really well as long as you're once again aiming upper chest. Or you can go for leg meta as well with the shotguns, provided that he is somewhat close but not too close where he can get in the way of your shotgun and actually cause you to kind of buckle up with your shotgun, and that way you can't shoot. So yeah, it's a very, very good way. Just don't get scared of Tagilla. That is the main kind of thing. He is, of course, got a cracked aim when he does pull out his AK or his shotgun or whatever, so you don't want to just sit there. Usually when he goes to pull out his gun, he'll crouch on the floor and he'll aim at you and start shooting you. So if you see him crouch on the floor, then you just want to kind of hide away a little bit, and he'll start coming towards you again, and that way you can just pre-aim the door. Like I've said before, pre-aiming the door and waiting for him to run through is the way to go. And if failing that, you're pretty much screwed. I mean, if he gets too close and you run out of ammo or whatever, then yeah, it can be curtains. But for the most part, as long as you do these steps and you find that there's multiple ways that you could run backwards after kind of having a failed attempt, if you did try it, then you can kind of keep moving backwards and backwards until eventually you'll take him out. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe down below if you want to see more. And the boss series playlist, which goes through quite a few of the bosses so far that I've done and more to come in the future, will be on screen right now. Hopefully I'll see you there. Goodbye.